That's it, guys. Welcome back to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. And it might be pretty much 4 a.m. here in the UK, but that doesn't mean I am not excited and thrilled to be here with you talking Monday Night Raw. This is your instant reaction review to the Raw after WrestleMania. And I said, look, we don't get to do these often for Raws, but the Raw after WrestleMania is a special event. And this one was special. It was genuinely one of the best in recent years. And that's, you know, sometimes not really saying a lot when some of the recent ones haven't been amazing. There's been good moments on them, but this one, every segment I think was great. Like every single segment was amazing. Gonna get to some of the comments here. Again, appreciate you guys that have stuck around since the watch along tonight as well. It's been so much fun. We started with a build-up show earlier on, then we did a watch along, and now you're here for the instant reaction review. I love it. Comic Book History says, damn, it wasn't Aleister Black, but Bron was a better choice. Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, guys, we ended the show with CM Punk, Roman Reigns being taken out by Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker is the new Paul Heyman guy. Casper says, what a show tonight. 10 out of 10 for me. Really enjoyed Raw. Mate, I can't complain. I can't complain. There's not... Yeah, there was just so many good, notable stories on this show. The best Raw I've seen in a long time, says Daniel. Of course, Daniel joined us for the watch along. Appreciate you've been with us for quite a while now, mate. Your first time as well. Any first timers, guys, please subscribe. We appreciate having you with us. Drop your comments. Let me know what you thought of Monday Night Raw. Again, it was a big show. The first Raw since WrestleMania. And man, they really, honestly, knocked it out of the park. I thought it was genuinely one of the best Raws I've seen in a long time. One of the best Raws after WrestleMania I've seen in a long time as well. Casper says, as I said, off the chain to deliver after WrestleMania. Yeah, WrestleMania went off the air kind of feeling a little flat for us, right? If you haven't seen it already, our instant reaction review, basically, here's the recap. Night 1, good. Main event night 1, really good. Night 2, really good. Main event night 2, not so much. Now, we had some John Cena stuff here as well. We'll touch on that because we'll go through everything that happened on the show, guys. We're going to go all the way through it kind of in chronological order, essentially. But we started with the big stuff at the end of Bron Breakker. We're going to get there properly. So, again, let me know your comments. What did you think of Raw after WrestleMania? And what do you think of basically each and every one of these segments and matches? Because there was so much to talk about and to break down on this show. Look, again, it's 4 a.m. in the morning for me, but I might be going to bed when the bird starts singing. But hey, I'm here for it. It's been a long weekend and it's been a great time spent with you guys here. So let's get into it, guys. Let's break down what we saw on Monday Night Raw. It started out with John Cena. John Cena makes his way to the ring. This time with those kind of plain graphics that we saw at WrestleMania as well. Does your typical, what I'm going to call your typical heel John Cena promo of 2025. It doesn't tell us a lot in some ways, but does give us a little bit of clarification. We talked in the build-up about how on the Pat McAfee show, he said, look, I know wrestling's going to continue. I'm not saying that. It's that I'm taking this title. The one held by Bruno, the one held by Punk, you know, I'm taking this away. And that's his kind of new angle, essentially. So they basically... you know, the fans wanted to cheer him. The fans wanted to cheer him, but they went back and forth about it. And it ended, the segment ended with, well, no, before we get to how it ended, we had a great spot where he put up a graphic, a plain one again, of course, this is modern John Cena now, of how many dates he said he'd have at the beginning of the year. I think it was 36. And then he impressively was like, here, named them all. And they went down, I think, to 27. He said, that's it, 27 left, and they're not all matches. So you better get used to this, and you better take it in, essentially. Anyway, that was great. But the best thing about the whole segment was at the very end, he stood there looking smug as ever. The camera slowly starts to zoom back because we hear the fans start to rumble. They start to cheer. And then in the background, waiting in the wings, is the Apex Predator looking to strike, and he did. He hits him with the RKO, of course, Randy Orton we're talking about here, and it reignites one of the most legendary feuds in professional wrestling history. And I've got to be honest, there were times where that feud was dull. There was times where it was like, this one again, but it's been so long, and you got to run it back one more time in John Cena's final year. Look, again, we did a watch along. I'd love it if you didn't join us for that, to go back and see some of the big reactions and stuff like that. I was over the moon about this. I was so excited to see Randy Orton in his position. And it makes sense. We spoke about this on the build-up show. It's a ready-made feud, right? Because you've got their history, running it back one more time, and the Cody Rhodes situation as well. It links with John Cena, and it links to his friend, former Legacy member Randy Orton, and eventually I think it will link to Randy Orton turning on Cody Rhodes. That's the way I see it. That's the way I want it to be, at least. But hey, we can't always get what we want. But tonight, I got a lot of things I wanted. I think Monday Night Raw started on an incredible note. Cena's promo was dragging a little bit, but generally speaking, really, really good result at the end of it. Casper says Raw was better than Mania for me. You know what? Mania has some great matches and great moments, and it's Mania. I think ultimately Mania is better, but I mean that sparks the conversation. I think a lot of people are going to have similar views as you, Casper. Comic Book History says Bloodline with Punk versus the Monday Night Messiahs at Survivor Series 2025. You're going to add for Survivor Series. We've got the date in the books for that as well. John Cena segment was good. Really enjoyed it. RKO on John Cena. So yeah, that's how we started the show. We started it big, man. We started it hot and heavy and fast. Apart from Thingy droning on for a bit. But yeah, that's what we got. Then straight into it, guys. Lyra Valkyria, Becky Lynch defending against Raquel and Liv. Now, I felt like this meant Becky was going to turn. Of course, Becky returned at WrestleMania to help Valkyria. They won a tag title. She put her over massively in the press conference with Little Rue's help. And I was thinking, you know what? I think they might hot potato this title. They might give it straight back to the champs. And I'm not usually a fan of that. But as I said on the watch along, it's not like they book those titles well anyway, usually, right? And these guys have held it a few times. They're actually a credible team these days, Raquel and Liv. So, yeah, why not give it back to them? Because that is easier to tell a story there for them to go to NXT when they are facing off against the winners of the pre-show match, essentially. So, that's an easier story to tell there. They might, we said it as well, they might, depending on when you're watching this, you might already know, but they could lose it there as well, which would be crazy if you had 3 champions 3 nights in a row, 3 changes and whatever else. Right. Bringing it back to the match itself, though, entertaining match, but ultimately it did end. The big story coming out of this one was that Becky Lynch did turn, and it happened because your typical thing, really, Lyra pushes, I think it was Raquel onto Becky. Becky was frustrated by this, and they ended up losing the tag titles. A lot of kind of concerning spots at the end for Lyra. I think she came across well, but there are a few where she looked like she hurt herself. Like there was one where she did a finish, I think it was, and like Raquel, I mean, she's tall, right? And Lyra's not, so it's a tough move to do, but she looked like she landed on her foot. There was a few kind of rough moments there, but Becky's not happy about this. They've lost their tag team titles already, and she turns. And this is what the story is for me. You could argue, oh, would you have to do that with the titles? But again, that's going to go off, and we're kind of back to where we were anyway. Now we get Becky going after Lyra, and I know a lot of people being like, at the moment she comes back and wins a belt. That was kind of frustrating, and now she's going after another one, surely, with the IC. But that's good for the IC. This is good for Lyra. So it's the issue is when they stay at the top and they keep winning those titles. Now that you've got mid-card titles, there's an opportunity to do something else with it. So yeah, for me, big fan of the segment. 2 out of 2, smashed it out of the park straight away for WWE. Casper says Becky turned heel on Lyra, repeatedly destroying Lyra over and over again. Thanks for reminding me, mate. Yeah, she knocked her down, I think, with a clothesline. Then she just kept kicking her. Lyra kept just being like, what are you doing? I'm so upset. And Becky was like, let her off. And then come back and do it again. And Lyra just didn't like, she sold it, but she weren't like knocked out cold or anything. So Becky just kept coming back and beating her up. Casper says, I love Becky, but what did Lyra do? I guess she sees it as she cost them the match, or it's kind of a weaker version of that story being told, but still quite enjoyable, as far as the end result. Excuse me. Right, let's move into the next segment, which again, what did you know? Knocked out the freaking park. It was a big surprise here as well, and that was in the form of, did you know it was Rusev Day? Look, a lot of people guessed it was Rusev Day, not just because it's Rusev Day every day, but today felt like a particularly good Rusev Day. And my goodness, it was. The New Day came out. They did a good little kind of quick promo about being the bad guys on top, essentially. Then Maxine Dupree came out with her little gang. Nice little promo from her as well. You really do see how she's grown as a performer and confidence and stuff like that. And she said, look, put the titles on the line. They went to do it. Some music hit, unfamiliar music. and it was Rusev. The graphic showed up. I was over the moon, happy, thrilled, really excited to see Rusev back, and he looked incredible. He was in incredible shape. He come to the ring, didn't really know what was going on, and I don't know if he did it first, but essentially he attacked the good guys, right? I think the New Day split and got out of there from what I remember, and yeah, he just, you know, he's a bad man again, but that's kind of what Rusev does, right? Yeah, brand new song. It seemed okay. Little kind of, I was watching it with closed caption, subtitles in it, you know, to kind of pay attention essentially what was going on, and it credited the song already, and I think it was CFO rather than Def Rebel. So there is that, but I don't know why they didn't just use his old theme song, which was good. Anyway, let's get to some of these comments here as well. Casper says Rusev Day destroyed the Alpha Academy, and Maxine was looking great here. Yeah, really good on the mic. Good work. El Grande Briticano is back in the house. Thank you for joining us on the build-up show, of course, and you're back here for the instant reaction review. Appreciate it, mate. You said, I called it the Dangerous Alliance. My goodness, was there a Dangerous Alliance unveiled at the end? Of course, yeah, referring to Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, and now Bron Breakker. Let's touch on that later on, though, because for now, we're going to move into the next segment, which, what do you know, was another surprise. We got Io Sky coming out. Nice little promo to just say, hey, I'm a champ, and, you know, I appreciate you. You appreciate me. Isn't that lovely? Stephanie Vacquer's music hit. This is it. Her main roster debut. Looking good in blue. Makes her way down to the ring. Says, look, I respect you. I'm here to give you flowers, essentially, but I'm here to challenge you as well. And that she did. They had a good match. It started out, I don't want to say sloppy. Started a little slow. The chemistry seemed to kind of be hit and miss at times. But as the match progressed, they got, I think, more used to each other. And some of the spots became more impressive. And ultimately gave us a good match until it was ruined by another NXT member in Roxanne Perez. I say NXT member. She seems to be hopping all over the place these days. And this is the thing about these NXT call-ups on Raw After Mania. They're not necessarily call-ups in the old sense where they, well, this is it now. You're here. It's kind of, it was more of an advertisement for NXT because not only did Roxanne Perez come out and ruin the match, Julia come out to ruin as well. So Julia goes after Io Sky. Roxanne Perez goes after Stephanie Vacquer. And it was like, wow, it's cool seeing all these kind of characters together. And then Rhea Ripley's music hits. She comes down to the ring. Yes, and no contest. Yeah, it kind of ruins it in that sense. But that's the point of it. That's the story they're telling. And it fed into kind of NXT and the story that is being told there as well. And I think it was a good advertisement for that as well. So I know there are people in the chat that weren't familiar with some of the ladies that popped up on our screen from NXT. But hopefully this kind of piques your interest and gets you looking at more of their work. But yeah, NXT's on fire right now. It's the best it's been since the Black and Gold era. Yeah, and I think they deserve to have eyes on the prize. So hopefully people will tune in going forward. Casper says, Io Sky, Stephanie Vacquer, and Julia getting involved was great for NXT. Roxanne Perez next, looking great here with Rhea as well. Yeah, and again, seeing Rhea in there with these women, it was really cool. It was really, really cool. The women's division is good on Raw and SmackDown, but everybody knows, you know, it's been talked about for a while now. The women's division on NXT, I don't want to say it's where it's at, but like it's where a lot of good stuff's happening. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And yeah, it just kind of made me think, what we're going to get in the future now, even if they're not called up full time yet. What are we going to get next? Then, man, talking of stuff I would recommend you going back and watching on the watch along. Oh, man, the next segment, I had like my heart in my mouth for most of it. I mean, first of all, talking about heart, you know, it was putting on the heartstrings, what we saw in the opener, essentially, to this segment. You had a promo package about Jey Uso's career and basically getting to the position he was in to win the world title. Then he had his big celebration entrance, which you know would imagine. Again, I said it on air and I've said it throughout some of the streams recently. I know some people aren't massive fans of Jey's stuff. Like, not everything about his characters for me either, but I understand that it's not for me. But I can appreciate the stuff he is doing. You know, I'm getting involved with a Yeet here and there. I've got a Yeet shirt. I'm not even his biggest fan. I just appreciate him and I think he's doing all right. But it was a great moment. I think he deserved this moment. And then that's exactly what they got. They let him do his music. The fans, of course, wanted it to happen again. They did it again. And I know at this point you can go, oh, come on, we gave you that moment. This is the point. You just keep doing the same thing. You're all in it about an entrance. But I think it was in that moment, if there's any time to give him something like that, that is it. And then, this is where my heart was like, ooh. They bring out Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn says, I just want to be the first one to come out here and congratulate you. And I thought, oh, okay. He's going to turn though, right? You know, because we talked about surely he might have been turning and leaning, you know, towards Kevin Owens if that match took place, but maybe he's doing it here instead. Oh, he's going to turn. And he said, no, we're going to have a party. We're going to celebrate. They got up. They started yeeting together. And honestly, if you watch it back in the watch along, you'll see that I was tense for about a good 5 minutes, or what felt like 5 minutes at least. I said, please, like, just fade to black or do something. Like, I'm getting so tense. Anyway, he got down. He went over to Jey. Jey was on top, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is the moment! This is the moment!" I felt it was coming, like because the audience, I think, must have as well. They started getting quieter, and Sami just stood there. And I thought, "Oh no, like this is it. He's going to stop yeeting and realize behind him, you know, someone's turn, like, and he's coming after him quick." No, I was wrong. He got off the top of the rope, and it was. And then what do you have? What do you know? Jimmy Uso comes out, and that's when I really started to get worried. I thought, look, I don't want Jimmy Uso to turn. He's done such a good job at trying to reinvent his character alongside Jey, considering Jey being the biggest star these days. It's been a hard job, you know, being the heel and having to come back from that and taking that role. So I've been saying all weekend, I don't want him to turn on Jey at WrestleMania. I don't want him to turn on Jey here. And I thought, oh, no, it's going to happen. Then I thought, oh, it might be a bit different. Him and Sami, that's a new dynamic, you know, both being heel against Jey. And I thought, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. No, they just celebrated together. Then they got out of the ring, and you'll notice there's a bit where I literally pretty much jumped. I had to check my heart rate after this. I was terrified. I genuinely thought something bad was going to happen. Sami's arms went in the air, and I thought, oh. It was fine. Ridiculous. But again, I'm super emotional, guys. I've been up for hours. I've been streaming for flipping hell most of the day, it feels. And we've been doing that all weekend as well. And of course, we appreciate your support. But my goodness, was I on edge for this segment. And ultimately, we didn't get a turn. It was all right. It was fine. You know, I still think we might. But I was a bit too fragile to get it tonight. So, yeah, I'm all right with that. Jey Uso video package says Casper, but then we see Sami and Jimmy turn on Jey eventually. You can see it happening. Surprises just kept coming. Yeah, the surprise here was that they didn't turn, right? You know, that was a kind of shocking one. Then I think it was good. It didn't need everything. There was another point later on that we'll get to that we were talking about in the chat and watching on that we were like, it'll be good, but not tonight. We'll get to that in a little bit. Right. Then we get, what's that actually the next thing? Let me look at these notes here. Am I missing anything here? No, sorry, after this. Oh, that's what we got. Gunther came out during the break. It came back to the main feed. And then he was having to go at Michael Cole. Michael Cole's, what the heck? You know, I ain't the one that tapped out. Gunther didn't take this kindly. Smacked him upside the head. Started beating up, started grabbing him, started putting a choke on him. Pat McAfee wasn't going to let it stand, jumps out of his seat, bomb on the top of Gunther's head, and then Gunther turns his attention like the big bad beast that he is to Pat McAfee and takes him out. All Pat's goons jump over the guardrail to try and help him. You know, you got all the people from the back coming out to try and figure out what's going on, take these guys apart. Pat is not being let go of. He passes out, sells it beautifully. And again, all these mates sell it as well. Really, really cool. He's getting taken to the back. The fans start serenading him with his theme song, which I thought was quite a nice touch as well. And Pat sold it well. So, look, it looks like we're going to get Gunther versus Pat McAfee. Not something I expected. But again, in hindsight, you look back, these are guys that overly celebrate Jey Uso. Now, Michael Cole was saying, like, how can you do this to Adam Pearce? You know, how can you allow this to happen? Look, this can't happen again. We're here to try and, you know, we're having fun with fans ultimately, but you can't just get beaten up every time you're criticizing someone. But at the same time, they're supposed to be impartial. So, but yeah, I think it makes sense now. You know, you look at it, you go, obviously Gunther don't like Pat. You know, so really, really enjoyable segment here as well. Again, it reminded me of Jerry Lawler, the King, and Taz back in the day. So, yeah, very, very enjoyable. Gunther almost killed Pat, says Daniel. I do think we're going to get that match eventually. Maybe not yet, though. Maybe at SummerSlam. Maybe Pat is going away. We talked about that in the chat, didn't we? Maybe Pat's going to have some time off. He does that every now and then. Usually announces it, but maybe this time they've just played it into storyline. Love the Gunther segment, though. And his return will be massive, by the way. It'd be great. And people love it when he comes back, generally speaking, anyway. So, yeah. Segment was great. So, Daniel as well. Yeah, can't find a bad segment on tonight yet. Not at all. Not at all. Not a bad segment at all. The only thing was like me going, oh, come on, Cena, hurry up. But other than that, it was good. Couple segments went a little long with the entrances, but overall super raw. Yeah, 100% agree with you there, mate. Gunther said to Cole and Pat McAfee, yeah, celebrating. Man, really good. Really, really good. Right, then we had Dominic Mysterio defending against Penta, and this was a big fear of ours. We were talking about it in the chat. We were worried that Dominic was going to lose the title straight away. And it felt like, you know, he's the kind of character that would. It reminded me of Zack Ryder winning the IC title. And years later, I can look back at that one day thing and go, you know what, we had that moment, and that's okay. And I thought that's what we were going to get with Dom. And my big fear was like, not only that, but it was hot potato of a title again, which I'm not a big fan of, but like where it works, it works. And it did work in the earlier segment. Don't do it twice on one show. And don't do a turn relating to that as well in one show. And it feels like it's coming because earlier in the night, they were celebrating backstage, but Finn came in. They kind of stopped. Dom, Liv did some great acting, by the way. I was like, come on, like you said, she seemed quite nervous. You know, as long as it's back in the not I was going to say treehouse, the clubhouse, it's, you know, it's back in the Judgment. That's all right, right? And Dom said, look, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And yeah, it's all right. And then he looks at the title a little bit too long, a little bit too lovingly. And we think, oh, no, it's coming. And it is coming. It is coming. But it didn't come tonight. A great match between Penta and Dom, as expected. But the big fear was, you know, I want Penta to be a champion. I want him to have a moment like that. But I didn't want Dom to have it taken away from him. I didn't want a hot potato a title. And I didn't want to rush this feud. We talked about it simmering for a little bit. And I think it is continuing to simmer. Part of me thought that maybe he won't lose the title, but Dom will attack him, be attacked at the end. Wasn't the case, though. Dom gets out with a celebration and everything, and it's all because of J.D. McDonagh. Casper was worried about Dom losing the belt here and Finn turning, but it is coming. And Daniel says the Finn turn is coming, but they were smart letting it simmer. Seeing J.D. is great. Yeah, it was a very unexpected surprise. I mean, how many surprises on this show? And they don't got to be like someone like Rusev coming back from, you know, the wilderness of catering in AEW. That's not a dig at AEW, but let's be honest, it didn't really get used. When he left WWE, I was saying the same thing. And oh my gosh, it's going to be great here in AEW. Another man like that, Aleister Black, could be seeing him on SmackDown, of course. But here we go. Talk about Monday Night Raw for now, and Rusev coming back, and now JD coming back in a different sense as well. Very surprising, really cool. And I like that Finn was like a bit like, but you're my tag partner. You're like one of my closest in this group. And I didn't know you were coming back. You could tell it was like that. They're celebrating up on the ramp. Everybody's coming out. You know, they're having a good time. You know, the tag champs are coming out as well. And Liv and Raquel. Carly is, of course, there. JD's over the moon and celebrating with Dom. And Finn's kind of like encouraged to get involved. And he celebrates a little bit on his own. And he's happy just to be part of it. Like, yeah, I'm part of the Judgment Day. We're great. It's coming. It's coming, and I love it, and I love the fact it didn't happen tonight because it wasn't needed tonight, and it would have been overkill. I mean, already there were so many big moments on this show. We had a Karrion Kross, AJ Styles confrontation backstage. Good to see Karrion Kross. Again, if you haven't seen it already, check out Karrion Kross's incredible promo he did with Sam Roberts last night. We covered it on the build-up show. I know the build-up show, the idea is to get everybody hyped up and in the mood for a show, but you'll notice from having watched our build-up show, if you're with us, that we go on random tangents and stuff like that. So skim through that for some of the hot topics as well, because we did dive quite deep into the Karrion Kross situation on there. Good to see that he's still got a job and it can't all be you know, legit, even if they're playing into real life things. That was really cool. You know, him backstage with AJ Styles, AJ trying to turn AJ back, and AJ saying, look, I don't want to be that guy again last year. Let's see if there's anything else I missed from the show, guys. Let me know in the chat if I have missed anything before we get to the final segment. What else do we have? Just scrolling through some of the notes here. It doesn't look like there was anything else on the show. If I've missed anything, guys, let me know. But if not, we'll head into talking about the main event of the evening. It wasn't a match, but it was a big, big moment. And one where we kept thinking, how are they going to end this show? Like a pull-apart brawl between Punk and Seth? Like, we've been there before. And we didn't want what feels like night 3 of WrestleMania to end on a dud like night 2 did. So we're thinking, is this story gonna go somewhere else? Clearly, are we gonna get just a good promo? Punk was there. We had seen him backstage. We thought, is The Rock actually involved? Is this a stable like people suggest? Kind of. We don't know where it's going, but kind of. And we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, Paul Heyman, Seth in the ring. He's doing his usual kind of stuff, and he's getting it in, but he's talking a bit quieter and kind of, cockily. Punk's music hits. I almost spat my water out because I weren't expecting it at the time. Runs down to the ring. They basically start going to blows, and they get in control. They get in control of CM Punk, start taking advantage of him. The OTC's music hits. He comes out. I was surprised he was there. I was thinking, oh, wow, they're continuing this feud. I thought this is going to be a two-man thing going forward. They mentioned WrestleMania 32 and how Seth is like the biggest star now, and it was seemingly all about that. And I thought, oh, maybe there isn't a stable then, because Paul Heyman's focus has got to be on Seth being number one, right? The only way that works is if Seth has an understudy who's clearly an understudy and is a henchman. And my goodness, did we get that? Because although the OTC come out to save CM Punk, well, to kind of get his own back, I guess, also for, losing out on Paul Heyman, he tries to do that. He hits Paul Heyman with a Superman punch. Meanwhile, by the way, the graphics had come up to end the show. The copyright graphic, the Las Vegas media, whatever it was, the executive producer, Paul Levesque. And I know they've done that in the past to kind of, they did it for CM Punk's return, for example. This felt like a genuine mistake. It felt like it went a bit too early. But the show continued. Superman punch, great. And then he sets him up, in the corner, goes for the spear. They film this beautifully because as he runs forward to start the spear, someone spears him in a hoodie. And I'm thinking, who's a big, beefy man? Who's that? Hood comes back. Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker has aligned himself with not only Seth Rollins, but Paul Heyman. He is the new Paul Heyman guy in a segment that I think was fantastic as well. Get to some of these comments here. Casper says, another big shock. Blockbuster segment with Bron Breakker as the new Paul Heyman guy. And I did see the Karrion Kross thing. Yeah, the Karrion Kross promo was great. And he was also in the background of New Day's promo, wasn't he? A segment, American Made done a segment. Yeah, that was kind of in the in-between bit when it was on a break, when Chad Gable basically come out and praised El Grande Americano. But yeah, thanks for the reminder, buddy. And Seth Rollins, CM Punk comes out after Roman and then heads, the Superman punch. It was a good Superman punch as well. He took it well. I should have mentioned as well, they did bring back Joe Tessitore. I keep mixing up that name. Hope I got it right at that time. He's a great announcer. Apologies. And they played that really well. Michael Cole was like, I'm not being bullied by Gunther, and he came back and continued the night as well. So well done. Like, so much great storytelling here on this show. I can't wait for Raw next week. And that's what you want, right? That's what you want. I mean, funnily enough, I came out of night 2 of WrestleMania wanting answers, but I weren't like, I can't wait for Raw. I was excited in some ways because it's Raw after Mania anyway. And, if you were with us on a build-up show, I won in the best of kind of spirits at first. I was hoping it would be good, and we were talking up the possible surprises, and some of them were obvious. Some of them are things we got, like Rusev and NXT interaction, not from Fraxium, who we did expect. But look, that is to come, and there are so many good things to come. After ending the last night on a down, I'm so pleased I'm going to bed in a better mood this time around, essentially. A really, really enjoyable Monday Night Raw. And again, want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments whether you're watching live or whether you're watching on demand. Let me know what you think of Monday Night Raw. The Raw after WrestleMania 41 is in the books, guys. And in my opinion, one of the best ones we've seen in recent years. Certainly one of the best Raws lately as well. Raw on Netflix. We've had some really good ones, don't get me wrong, but this one was stacked. Daniel says, looking forward to NXT tomorrow and SmackDown than Raw. Of such a mark. Mate, I get you. Look, we said earlier, is NXT night 4 WrestleMania, essentially. Let's hope that's a big show that they knock out of the park as well. Some great stories to pick up on from Stand and Deliver and from Monday Night Raw now with the women as well. Casper says, need a great show and a great colleague. It was terrific. We can sort of call it a Becky heel turn, but still, even though it's predictable, it was still fun, right? Again, keep your comments coming, guys, and especially those on demand. I want to see what you have to say as well. There will be a separate version of this video, although you're watching it live on a watch along. It'll be separately uploaded as its own video on the channel as well. So yeah, if you're watching there, drop your comments. Let me know what you thought Monday Night Raw and why it was the best show you've seen lately, right? Especially for weekly television. As you said there, Daniel, though, weekly television continues. We've got SmackDown this weekend as well. I'm trying to think if I can somehow cover it. I'm that excited. I don't think I can, unfortunately, but stick with us on the channel. We'll do as much as we can. Again, we don't always get to do watch-alongs because it is at silly o'clock, as we kind of mentioned earlier on. For me here in the UK, it's 4:30 in the morning, pretty much. And by the time I get all this stuff done before I get to bed, it's going to be birds chirping and daylight. But look, I do it for the love of the game, guys. I'm here all night because it's been such a great WrestleMania weekend, enjoying it and spending the time with you guys. Again, if you haven't already, we got plenty more content for you to view on this channel. We've got obviously you don't need to see what predictions for WrestleMania, but we do have reviews of WrestleMania Night 1 and WrestleMania Night 2 on this very channel as well, uploaded separately but also uploaded in a combined effort as well. So this is the thumbnail you look for Night 1. This is the thumbnail you would look for Night 2. But if you just want to watch them all in one space, they're uploaded separately on this channel as a together, I should say, as a combined video as well. So you can hear my thoughts, Lucas's thoughts especially as well on Night 2, which was great. If you haven't managed to watch Stand Deliver, and I've talked you into it, you can have a watch along experience of that as well. And if you do want to see my thoughts and opinions as they actually happened on this night's show, check out the Raw After WrestleMania watch along as well. It's not just watch alongs and reviews here on the channel, though. We've also had the opportunity to interview the likes of Zelina Vega in the past. Great conversations with Rhea Ripley and with Damian Priest. We didn't see this woman tonight, by the way, Bianca Belair, which I was a bit shocked by, but still some great stories being told in the women's divisions tonight, and some great stories in these conversations as well. So if you haven't already, go check those out on this channel. Please subscribe for more great content like that. We had a big target this weekend. We wanted to get to 1,000 subscribers on the channel, and we managed to do it thanks to you guys. And I really, really mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm so appreciative. We've got some new friends joining us tonight. I saw a lot of new names in the chat for the build-up, the watch-along, and this instant reaction review, and also a lot of old faces, a lot of old screen names, I should say, that we've seen from the past that have been with us for quite some time now as well, and we appreciate all of you. Daniel says, thanks very much. Thank you, Daniel, as well. I know, again, you said it's your first watch-along, so thank you so much for spending the night with us as well. Casper loved Raw, 10 out of 10. I'm so glad you stayed up, Casper. You know, you kept us company. You were really tired, and I appreciate that. Hope your headache's doing well now. But yeah, we've had a long weekend, all of us wrestling fans. But yeah, those overseas, outside the States, you know exactly what I mean. It's been a little rough. My voice is starting to go now, guys. So I think that's my cue to start wrapping up. Yeah, Stack turned on the family at Stand and Deliver as well. Big stories coming out of NXT. Big stories coming out of Monday Night Raw. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. I know it's a cliche thing to say for YouTubers, but it really does make a difference, and it helps us grow, and it helps us be able to bring you extra content like this as well. We'll be back soon. I'm not quite sure when, if I'm honest, but don't worry, it won't be too long. And any big news in the wrestling world, you know we're going to try and cover it to our fullest as well. And we'll also do Backlash content in depth, as we always do for the PLEs. We hit you with build-up reviews, get you guys and us in the mood for that show as well. Thanks again, says Casper. Thank you as well, mate. And again, I'll see you guys in the next one.